Hello, I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening so far. I was part of Denver Kids from the time I was in middle school until my high school graduation. 6 years later, Denver Kids has given me the opportunity to continue being a part of the community, and for that, I'd like to thank them. I am currently the College Access Coordinator at my former high school, Rocky Mountain Prep Smart. Having been mentored and helped by such wonderful educators allowed me to find my path in education, not only as a teacher, but as a student who truly enjoys learning and feels there's a place for them in the education system. One of the reasons I am particularly thankful for tonight's experience is that while writing this, I reflected on my middle school self, which admittedly was a little painful and not something I usually do willingly. It pains me a bit to think about a younger me who had no idea if she would have the opportunity to go to college. I had just watched my older brother graduate from high school, and that alone was a big accomplishment. At just 11 years old, I began to realize that there was so much more to life than what first-generation students were being handed. I couldn't imagine that my middle school principal would one day tell my parents that their goal was for me to attend college. I never knew I'd be sitting at dinner with Erica, my Denver Kids mentor and good friend today, eating frog legs, all while she told me how far she believed I would go. Or that at 16, I would be visiting schools like UCLA and USC. But all of these things happened and kept me motivated throughout my education and made me form a deep love and care for my community that is difficult to explain. I've gained so much motivation through the idea that someday education will be a right, not a privilege. I know my purpose is to be here. I was part of the third graduating class of SMART, which was started as a college preparatory for middle through high school. The majority of students SMART serves are those of similar backgrounds to mine. First-generation multilingual learners, the very same students Denver Kids serves. To be completely honest, I never saw myself going to college, let alone teaching the students who now sit in the very same seats I was once in. It is difficult to feel secure moving through a system that is designed to directly oppress people like you. As you all may know, the communities these students live in are not those in which they go snowboarding over winter break or those where they have access to several extracurricular activities. Both remarks might seem a little silly, but we all know these are the opportunities that build confidence in a student and inevitably get them to Ivy League schools. Instead, we have students who feel a great discomfort at school and can't see themselves ever being able to attend a university. This isn't a decision based on wants, but based on a lack of resources and the inability to see someone who they relate to in college. I was forced to face that this was my reality while attending Drake University. Don't ask me why, but at 18, I was dead set on attending a private out-of-state university. Me, who had absolutely no money, no car, and not that this matters as much, but I didn't even know what Greek life was. Yet, I was determined to receive the best education I could find. I don't think I've shared this before, so I'd like to start off by saying, I'm sorry, Dad. But when I left to Drake, I actually had only one semester of financial aid figured out. Thanks to Denver Kids and Erica, I had a one-time scholarship that helped me fill a final gap in the fall of 2018. But I had no clue how I was going to pay after that. Carrie, my former Denver Kids counselor, and I now laugh about how worried she was that I was gonna have to come home after my first semester. The truth is that a lot of people were worried, but I had learned through support from organizations like Denver Kids how to be resilient and confident in my decisions. And so I headed off to Drake, determined to complete the rest of my financial aid by becoming a resident assistant. Due to my financial aid situation, the first building I memorized my way to was Carnegie Hall, the financial aid office. One of my earliest memories from college is when a financial aid advisor said to me, "Women like you typically go to community college, so I'd suggest you transfer." I can't explain the frustration and sadness I felt at that moment, but despite all my emotions, I managed to say thank you for your time and put my backpack on to walk out. I remember speed walking back to my dorm room in the horrid Iowa humidity. I honestly don't remember anything except for the ringing while I waited for my dad to pick up the phone. I'm not even sure what I said, but through all my sobbing, I managed to retell the story. His response? Stop crying. He reminded me that this would unfortunately not be the last time I had an experience like this. He reminded me of who I was, and in this moment, the voices I heard the loudest were those of my mentor, Erica, Carrie, my teachers, and of course, my family. These were the people who were always right there rooting for me, reminding me of all the possibilities that existed. Even during the times that they were afraid for me, they didn't realize they were the ones who had paved the way. My parents did so by moving in their early 20s to a country foreign to them, Erica by being such a strong career woman, and Carrie by always filling everyone else's cup. One instance where I learned how much my knowledge and skills truly made me stand out was my resident assistant interview. It's funny because I remember showing up to that interview with around 80 other students, where I was one of 6 students of color. Almost everyone had worn suits and business clothes. I wore light blue jeans and a gray cardigan. After the interview, I for sure thought I would have to transfer, but having learned so much about perseverance and determination through organizations like Denver Kids as a child and young adult, I knew how to push through situations where I was forced to make decisions I shouldn't have had to make. While in college, I worked at least 3 jobs each semester and attended school full-time, year-round, making it possible for me to graduate a semester early, which, yes, I am very proud of, but I shouldn't have had to do it. My whole college career shouldn't have been determined by whether or not I was hired as a resident assistant. Thankfully, I was hired and graduated with my bachelor's in 2021. Now, I've come back here to ensure no other brown first-generation students are forced to do it all, because supporting programs like Denver Kids will ensure generations to come are able to simply be learners, students, and young adults. The work I do every day reminds me of all the ways in which I relate to and mirror every single person I admire. I'm sure you've all heard it takes a village to raise a child, and looking back at my life, man, is that true. I now think back to that middle school me and know how proud and excited she'd be. Thanks to organizations like Denver Kids and my family, I've been able to have conversations about careers, womanhood, and so much more. This has given me the ability to break barriers for myself and other first-generation students to come, showing me the importance of long-lasting, genuine relationships, the kind of relationships that Denver Kids builds with students today. Thank you for joining me here tonight and for supporting future Denver Kids students.